On the open grasslands and hidden edges of nature, every movement begins in silence before the moment of attack. A sudden acceleration, a precise approach, and the distance is closed in seconds. But even the most dangerous big cats can misjudge the timing, and when that happens, the hunt ends in retreat. So what causes a seemingly certain attack to fail? On the savanna grasslands of Africa, zebras live in herds and move in search of grass. In the Serengeti, many herds migrate hundreds of miles during the rainy season to maintain food and reduce risk, so they often choose open areas to maintain their visibility. As the formation spreads out, one zebra becomes separated from the herd, and that open space gradually becomes vulnerable. As soon as the gap appeared, a lioness was already at the edge of the area and began to observe. She kept her distance, moving slowly and waiting for the right moment. When she was close enough, she accelerated. The zebra, noticing late, turned and fled, then suddenly stopped. It turned to face her. A kick with its hind legs to the head knocked the lioness off balance and brought her to a halt. This sudden stop at the very moment of approach changed the entire course of events. The lioness retreated and did not continue the pursuit. It stood still for a brief moment before withdrawing. The zebra left the danger zone and returned to the herd. The distance was maintained, and the outcome was decided in that instant of reaction. When danger arises, buffalo herds immediately tighten their formation as they move across the African savanna. Adults can weigh over 1,300 pounds, with thick, curved, and very hard horns. When threatened, the herd closes into a block, with the young in the middle and the adults surrounding them. This organization creates a stable protective circle, and any gap that appears is easily tracked. On the edge of the grassland, a pride of lions silently approached. They observed, waited for the right moment, and then accelerated when their target strayed from their protective circle. One blocked the path, while the others pressed from both sides. Just as they were closing in, a mature buffalo turned, lowered its horns, and charged straight ahead, forcing the lions to split up. The counterattack disrupted the rhythm of the assault. The buffalo herd immediately pressed forward, tightening their formation and pushing back their opponents. The lions did not continue to approach and retreated from the area. The buffalo herd maintained their formation and moved away, re-establishing the distance between them. The two sides separated, each playing its role in the natural rhythm of the savanna. Porcupines don't seek conflict. They choose safe paths and repeat them when there are no changes in the dry areas of the savanna. They prioritize avoiding risk and remember places where danger has occurred. When threatened, porcupines turn their backs and raise their spines in defense. This reaction helps minimize errors, but also leaves a distinct trail along their path. Following the trail, a leopard approached from behind. It kept its distance, moving low and observing carefully before accelerating. The pounce was swift, but just then the porcupine stopped and turned its back. Its spines rose up as a barrier. The leopard changed its approach angle, but every attempt to get closer was blocked. Just before its target, the leopard had to stop. A misjudging approach caused its spines to pierce its legs and face. It ceased its attack and retreated from the area. The porcupine maintained its direction of movement and returned to its hiding place, creating a distance that the predator could not close. In food contests, hyenas rely on their strong bite and pack coordination to maintain their position. Their jaws are incredibly powerful, capable of crushing bones that many other animals leave behind. When competing for prey, they hold on to the carcass with sustained bite and coordinated group action. This coordinated effort creates constant pressure, turning any open space into an easy target. In the grassy field where the carcass of its prey lay, a cheetah was eating after a successful hunt. The scent of the food attracted a hyena, which approached with the intention of snatching the meal. The cheetah immediately stopped eating, kept its distance, and observed. As the hyena got closer, it lunged to claim its share of the food. The hyena's pressure forced the cheetah to retreat step by step. After several unsuccessful attempts to hold on to its prey, it stopped and left the area to avoid injury. The hyena advanced, seized the carcass, and began to eat. The cheetah had no choice but to retreat, while the hyena remained beside the carcass, maintaining its advantage in the struggle. In murky waters and slow currents, crocodiles are widely distributed in rivers, lakes, swamps, and estuaries. In areas like the Mara River, they lie still underwater, waiting for an opportunity. This environment conceals their movement and provides an ambush advantage. When prey approaches the water's edge, the advantage begins to shift in favor of the hidden predator. Taking advantage of the situation, a leopard approached the shore. It kept its body low, observing and waiting for the right moment. When the distance was close enough, it lunged into the water. The pounce created a powerful wave, but the crocodile immediately turned and dived underwater, changing direction from below and forcing the leopard to react. The rapid change from underwater quickly cost the leopard the initiative. The leopard stopped its approach, turned around, swam back to shore, and left the area. The crocodile remained in its position, silent in the murky water. The encounter ended with control returning to the dominant predator. Not living in dense jungles, warthogs choose open grasslands to maintain their visibility on the African savanna. In the Serengeti, where lions and hyenas often hunt, the high-pressure environment forces them to remain vigilant. They don't run randomly but memorize familiar paths, choosing the nearest burrow as a survival guide. That very path was spotted by a pride of lions near the cave. They stealthily approached and then simultaneously charged as the warthogs were foraging. The chase erupted when one of them turned and ran in a familiar direction, then suddenly turned back. A shove with its tusks brought the entire herd to a standstill for a split second. That moment was enough to change the situation. The warthogs rushed into the cave entrance and disappeared underground. The lions surrounded them, trying to dig and waiting for an opportunity. But below, the warthogs had moved and escaped through another path, leaving the predators unable to reach them. This confrontation maintains a natural balance, with the constant hunting and dodging shaping the behavior of both sides. Not solitary, baboons move in large troops and maintain constant vigilance on the savanna and forest edges. Adults guard the edges, young in the center. When threatened, the entire troop does not scatter, but quickly regroups, signals, and exerts counter-pressure. This organizational structure forms a stable defense system where each position supports the others. Beneath the sparse foliage and the dry leaves covering the ground, a leopard silently crept to the edge of the troop. It lowered its body, observing their movements, and waited for an opening. When close enough, it accelerated and pounced on a monkey at the edge. The warning signal spread immediately. The adults turned and advanced, closing the circle from multiple directions. The tightening encirclement deprived the leopard of its advantage. It held its prey for a moment before being forced to release it. Facing the risk of injury, the leopard retreated and left the area. The troop maintained its formation and continued to move, maintaining a constant balance of hunting and defense. The open spaces of the African savanna allow gazelles to move and observe from a distance. They live on low grasslands where visibility is unobstructed and speed is a major advantage. In East Africa, herds of Thomson's gazelles frequently move through areas with cheetahs, and it is this environment that makes early reaction time a decisive factor. In the open savanna, a cheetah began to approach from behind. It kept its body low, observing the movement and waiting for the right moment. When the calf strayed from its mother, it immediately accelerated. The chase erupted, and the mother turned, lowered her head, and lunged straight at the predator. The backward lunge caused the cheetah to stop and drop its target. The herd of antelopes immediately closed in, keeping the calf in the center and moving away. On the open grass, the cheetah stopped when the antelope was out of reach. Both continued to move in their familiar pattern, maintaining their predatory relationship and avoiding each other. These failed hunts didn't stem from a lack of strength, but from misjudgments in timing and approach. Each species survives by its own instincts, quick reflexes, teamwork, or utilizing the environment at the right moment. These small differences determine the outcome in seconds. In nature, there are no guaranteed victories. The predator may have to stop, and the prey may escape. It all depends on how each side handles the situation in that instant. On seemingly calm stretches of river, the water suddenly breaks apart with a perfectly timed leap, transforming a safe distance into imminent danger. On the fragile boundary between land and water, every step toward the river's edge can trigger a waiting attack from below. This series of moments reveals how crocodiles control time and space, where even a small misstep can lead to an irreversible outcome. Along the rivers of the East African savannah, lions live in prides and often cross water to move between areas. They may hide in tall grass to approach prey at close range and use short attacks to conserve energy. However, when the entire pride crosses the river together, their attention is diverted in many directions, gradually creating vulnerable spots. Deep underwater, a crocodile had been positioned and observing the lion pride's movements. It patiently waited for the individuals to venture deeper into the water before acting. When two cubs ran ahead and separated from the group, the crocodile suddenly lunged, attacking one of them, causing chaos within the pride. This outburst quickly escalated the situation into a state of uncontrollable chaos. The adult lions immediately turned back and attempted to provide support. But in the water, their mobility was severely limited, and the distance couldn't be shortened. The crocodile maintained its close proximity and kept its target at a disadvantage. The advantage gradually shifting towards the ambusher as attempts at assistance failed, and the outcome became decided. When navigating unfamiliar environments, even top predators can lose their inherent advantages. In aquatic areas where speed and agility are no longer maintained, a small deviation can make a big difference. And from there, the entire course of events can end in an irreversible direction. On the vast grasslands of East Africa, cheetahs move alone, leveraging their speed and long-range vision to often finish hunts quickly and drag their prey into sheltered areas to eat immediately. However, after energy-draining sprints, they are forced to seek water to recover, and this pause gradually creates vulnerabilities that are easy to exploit. Beneath the calm waters near the shore, a crocodile remained low-lying, observing from the start. It didn't rush into action, patiently waiting for its prey to approach. When the cheetah lowered its head to drink, reducing its attention, the crocodile suddenly leaped from underwater, instantly changing the situation and rapidly escalating the pressure. In a brief moment, the cheetah tried to retreat to escape the danger zone, but couldn't regain a safe distance. The underwater predator quickly gained the upper hand, keeping its opponent at a disadvantage. The outcome was decisive, with the confrontation ending with a clear victory, and the situation decided. Entering the water after expending a significant amount of energy, the cheetah's reaction speed significantly decreased with each movement. In the transitional environment between land and water, even a moment of lost control can make a huge difference. And from there, the entire course of events becomes irreversible. On the riverbanks of the African savannah, antelope move in herds in a steady, coordinated rhythm. They watch while others come down to drink, and when in danger they disperse and quickly gather to avoid being targeted. However, when the herd converges on the water's edge to cool off, the vigilance rhythm gradually decreases, opening up a vulnerable spot for exploitation. Beneath the murky water near the shore, a crocodile remained almost motionless, observing every movement. It patiently waited for sufficient distance before acting. When another crocodile lowered its head to drink for a longer time, the water suddenly surged in a swift, chaotic rush, scattering the entire group in panic. This disruption quickly escalated into increasing pressure. Amidst the chaos, an impala, unable to leave the water's edge in time, was trapped within a short range, becoming the sole target in that decisive moment. The crocodile capitalized on its proximity to the water, maintaining close range and control. The advantage quickly shifted to the ambusher, and the hunt ended successfully. The outcome now decided. When approaching water without maintaining a safe distance, reaction time significantly diminishes with each passing moment. Even a small misstep on the boundary between land and water makes a huge difference, and the entire course of events can then conclude irreversibly. During their migration across the Serengeti grasslands, zebras typically lead the herd towards water sources, relying on their route memory and synchronized movement for safety. However, when the entire herd descends into a river with strong currents, their pace slows down and the distance between them widens, leading to instability. Beneath the rushing water, a herd of crocodiles lurks beneath the surface, waiting for an opportunity. Upon spotting a herd of zebras crossing the river, they maintain their position and observe the direction of movement, waiting for a young zebra to be swept away from the group by the current. Suddenly, they surge forward from below, causing the entire herd to panic and accelerate, quickly escalating the tension. The adult zebras continue moving towards the bank to maintain their rhythm, while the young zebra, unable to close the gap, becomes isolated in the water. The crocodiles maintain their positional advantage and control the distance in their favorable environment, ultimately favoring the ambushers when the young zebra is unable to rejoin the group, resulting in a complete separation. When moving through strong currents, the synchronicity of the entire school can be disrupted in a very short time, in areas where every step changes the distance. Even a small deviation makes a big difference, and from there, the entire process comes to a point where it cannot be restored. On the open grasslands of Botswana and Tanzania, African wild dogs move in packs with tight coordination and long-range vision to detect danger from a great distance. But after long chases, they stop at the water's edge to recover. And when three separate to drink, the observational rhythm is disrupted, creating gaps that are easily exploited. A crocodile kept its body low and silently observed the movements near the calm water's surface close to the shore. It didn't approach directly, but waited for the moment the wild dogs bent down to drink and slowed their observation. Then suddenly lunged to attack a wild dog standing near the water's edge, breaking their formation. This brief movement quickly escalated into a chaotic situation. The remaining adult wild dogs immediately moved along the shore to create distance and find a way to provide support. But at the water's edge, the constantly changing distance made coordination difficult to maintain. The crocodile maintained its positional advantage and forced the pack to retreat to a safer area, ultimately favoring the ambusher as their attempts to approach proved ineffective, and the situation shifted to a forced withdrawal from the area. When group activity is disrupted by confined space, the advantage of coordination can diminish in a very short time. At the boundary between land and water, where each movement changes distance, the decision to leave the area becomes the safer option. And from there, the whole thing closes in a way that makes return impossible. Along the riverbanks of the African savanna, elephants often travel long distances to find water during the dry season. Their large bodies make them almost unrivaled when mature, and when drinking, they stand in a circle to protect their young. However, when the entire herd congregates at the water's edge for a short time, their attention is distracted, creating vulnerable gaps. At the bottom of the murky water, a crocodile remained low and silently observed, waiting until the entire herd was drinking, and a young elephant stood near the river's edge. Suddenly, it surfaced and attacked its target, causing the elephants to pause and retreat. This swift attack immediately put the situation at a clear disadvantage. The adult elephants quickly closed in, using their large bodies to exert pressure from multiple directions, forcing the ambusher to face constant pressure. The crocodile could not maintain a favorable distance and was forced to abandon its target. The outcome shifted in favor of the elephants as the young elephant escaped the danger zone, and the situation became safer. When collective action is maintained in a confined space, the advantage of size and coordination can shift the balance. In the area where the bank and water meet, where distance fluctuates constantly, synchronized action makes a clear difference, and the entire situation concludes in a way that eliminates further risk. In the rivers and swamps of sub-Saharan Africa, hippos spend most of their time in the water to regulate their body temperature and protect their skin. They occupy shallow sections of water and maintain distance from other species. When larger creatures enter the area, a reaction occurs almost immediately, thus forming a constantly active control zone. from the edge of the stream. A crocodile moved slowly and low to the ground as it entered the area, observing the herd's reaction before proceeding further. As it ventured deeper into the shallow water, its presence was no longer concealed and was quickly detected, immediately escalating the situation into escalating tension. The hippos turned simultaneously and pressed in from multiple directions, using their size and standing position to exert constant pressure. The crocodile, unable to maintain a stable position, was forced to change direction, the pressure pushing it away from its controlled area. The outcome tilted in favor of the hippos as their opponent could no longer maintain its position, and the situation shifted to one of being pushed back. Once an area is secured by a collective presence, any individual attempts at approach are clearly limited. In a space enclosed from multiple directions, maintaining a position becomes difficult over time, and thus the entire situation concludes with no possibility of reversal. From precise dives to the ability to control distance in the water, the crocodile demonstrates that the advantage lies not in speed, but in timing and position. In every encounter, a single moment of lost control at the land-water boundary is enough to completely change the course of events. And when the water is once again calm, what remains is not a coincidence, but the result of a pre-planned strategy.